Hey, hi! Welcome to Hollywood Party. Well, after party. I'm Lauren, and today we're going to talk about some little extra goodies that I have about Irene Mayer Selznick that I just couldn't fit into my weekly podcast. So, grab a drink and join the party.
Hello. Hollywood Party. Get up, get it. Hollywood Party. Oh, nobody please tonight.
So if there's not much stuff out there about Irving Thalberg, there's like less about Irene Mayer Selznick. There is her book, there's another one that had sketchy reviews, whatever, and that's kind of it. But she's still a really influential figure in Hollywood today. There's that new Netflix show, Hollywood, and Patti LuPone plays a character very much based on Irene Mayer Selznick. I wonder what Irene would have thought of Patti LuPone playing her. The turbans were great. I have no complaints with the wardrobe. So MGM was known for training their stars, and I feel like the Mayer girls were the first test subjects for this, I don't know, movie star school. And I feel like Irene especially, I don't know about Edie, probably, were very snobby about people who weren't up to snuff. Like when Irene met Joan Crawford on her first day and said, oh, she had a moon face and she had frizzy hair. Dude, she's just starting, like, give her a minute. So when Elby was in Europe trying to fix the Ben-Hur thing, which I don't know if it got fixed or not because it came all the way back to LA. Anyways, they meet Greta Garbo because she's so wonderful, and Irene was like, what? She's kind of fat. I know, like, fat shaming wasn't a thing back then, or it was, but whatever. It's just interesting to, like, see her just knock these people the very first time she meets them, like, you're not a movie star because you're not up to here yet. Irene's opinion on Greta definitely changed later in life. She told the story of Garbo coming over for a dinner to her house, and Greta Garbo pulling her aside and saying, like, oh, you have everything and I have nothing. Okay, you're Greta Garbo, like, you have something. But what Irene took it as was, I have children and she doesn't, and I have a husband even though he cheats on me a lot, and she has nothing. I don't know, is this something that, like, people without kids have to tell people with kids to make the people with kids feel better about having kids? I don't have kids. I worked at Disneyland for 10 years. So that kind of explains why I don't have kids. And two, I don't see a lot of happy parents, especially like where I worked. So I just wonder, like, is Greta Garbo having to just go and be like, oh, I'm so jealous of your life, when she probably walks out the door and is like, fucking thank God I don't have any kids, bye bitch. I don't know. So when Irene was just starting to date David O. Selznick, her competition, I don't think she knew it at the time, I'm pretty sure she didn't. Her competition was Jean Arthur, which, what an interesting combo, David O. Selznick and Jean Arthur. Apparently they were very much in love, but he broke it off like 6 months into dating Irene because Irene's the boss's daughter, like, come on, duh. And she's cool, like, that's not the only reason, she's awesome, but that's a really good reason. Also, her sister Edie is not getting a lot of dates. Like, this is the problem, this is why they're not getting, her and David weren't getting married, as when they wanted to was because Edie couldn't get any dates. So she is a sister, you know, and she, like, starts shit with Irene and is like, you and David, your children are gonna look too Jewish. Edie, you married a Jewish dude. Your kids are gonna look Jewish too. What? Who says that to somebody? Especially a sister, especially when you're both Jewish and both dating Jewish people. What the, who cares? Like, what? So when David and Irene had their first kid, Jeffrey, they got so many crazy baby gifts. Like, Adrian decorated their nursery, so awesome. There's no photos of that. Why didn't she include those? She probably doesn't have any, but I'm sure it looked outstanding. Baby nursery by Adrian. Then George Cukor is like, oh, let me give you a baby carriage, like a robe, like, you know, the thing that goes over the baby while you're taking it on a walk. I'm sure her nanny did that. I'm pretty sure Irene didn't do any of that. And it had ermine on it, like, you know, on royal robes, that black and white fur. You know, just a normal baby gift. Then she said, oh, we had so many gold cups and gold spoons. At wonder if David pawned those off while he was gambling. Like, oh crap, I'm freaking broke. Like, let's get the baby gifts out and take them down to the shop and pawn them. And speaking of gifts, David really liked to give gifts. He was very generous, I will say that about him. He gave Irene an 18.5 carat diamond ring. She didn't want it. She said she's not that into jewelry. I'll take it. But when she got it, her mom had to get a bigger ring, her sister had to get a bigger ring, like all the other girls in the family, they had to upgrade as well. What a weird dynamic. By the time Irene wrote this book, she's like, oh yeah, my jewelry got stolen, whatever. Like, she didn't give a shit. So the Christmas after Gone with the Wind was finished, which is like 2 weeks after they had the premiere. David gives Irene this really nice gold charm that she puts on her watch, and it says, to the real heroine of Gone with the Wind from your four-eyed red. Like, that's super nice. And I know I mentioned in the podcast that when she saw it, like the sneak preview of it, she like broke down in tears and was like, you commoners don't deserve seeing this first. Like, it's freaking ruined my life for 3 years. She said that her and David were walking in New York years later, and it's Gone with the Wind's playing at some theater, and she's like, oh, let's just go in. So she goes in and she can watch a little bit of it, and then she like loses her shit again because she like can't not handle how much that movie screwed with her life. Like, her husband's health is total shit because of it. Also, where's that charm? I wonder if that got stolen too. Dude. Okay, my least favorite person to talk about. It's not Harry Cohen, it's freaking Howard Hughes. I don't get it. I just don't understand people's obsession with him, but I'll talk about him because this is kind of an interesting story. No, it's an interesting story. So Irene's just becoming a producer, and she has to take Jeffrey from LA to his new like boarding school, prep school, whatever the hell rich people call it, out on the East Coast, where she is as well, but it's like way up the coast out. She's like S, so she can't get a flight. Like, I don't know, her travel agent screwed up, whatever. So she calls Cary Grant, because that's who I call when I have all of my travel emergencies, is Cary Grant. So Cary Grant calls Howard Hughes and he's like, oh, dude, I can get you a flight, don't worry about it. So via Howard Hughes Airlines or whatever, gets her a flight right out to the East Coast. Awesome, thank you so much, a little weirdo. Then it's Christmas time and she's like, oh, great, I forgot or whatever, she couldn't get flights back to LA. So she calls up her travel agent, Cary Grant, again. So Cary Grant's like, oh, don't worry, I'll call Howard Hughes again. Yep, he came through, boom, they come right back out to LA. It's Christmas time, so in the spirit of thank you so much for flying me all the way across the country, plus it's Christmas, she sends something to Howard Hughes and she's like, hey, here's a big Christmas tree and here's like some wine. He calls her on Christmas and he's like overwhelmed and tells her like, no one's ever done anything for me on Christmas. Thank you so much, this means so much to me. 1, that's nice, good job Irene. 2, Howard Hughes is like dating and banging all these hot chicks. Like, no one's giving him like a tie or something. Like Lana Turner, Ava Gardner, Katharine Hepburn, nobody? You guys can't even go to Bullock's and like pick up a fucking tie tack or something? What? So I don't know if I believe him saying that no one's ever done anything for him for Christmas, but whatever. So he tells Cary Grant like, hey, I want to meet Irene and thank her. And Irene's like, oh, I think she kind of felt the same way that I do about him. Like, I don't really give a shit. And she's like, all right, let's meet for lunch because that's safe. Let's meet for lunch at 21 in New York. So he meets with her there and he's very grateful because I guess it's all like wood in there and he is hard of hearing. So it's vibrationally great for him. Barely their drinks come. Howard Hughes says, why can Cary have a woman friend and I can't? This is total like only child mentality right there. And Irene's like, well, you have plenty of girlfriends, like not girlfriends, he's meaning like, I don't know if he's meaning like a hag, I don't know. He wanted a lady friend and he wanted her specifically to be his lady friend. And she's like, oh, you're a great guy, like you got so much going for you. She was very polite about like giving him the brush off, like, thank you so much, I have to go, you know, go for fitting or whatever rich freaking ladies do in the East Coast back. So this didn't upset Howard Hughes that much because when he bought RKO, he called Irene and was like, hey, you want to be a producer? Clearly she turned him down. That could have been awesome, but I know he didn't do much with RKO, so it could have also been freaking awful. So please like and subscribe below so we can get these parties bigger and and get to know each other a little bit better in the comments, and who knows who you might find, your own Howard Hughes. And speaking of that weirdo, because I don't understand him, please down below, tell me in the comments, would you want to go out on a date with him? Like, am I missing something? I know he's rich, but there were plenty of rich guys back then who also didn't like pee into milk jugs and not cut their fingernails and who wore underwear. So I'm very curious. If anybody has a fascination with him or would like to date him, please comment below and let me know. So I'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Where you find time?